I'm Kelly Vaughn, and this is Inside Indy. And tonight, it's a little late, but you might want to wake the kids up for this one because we're going to the Children's Museum of Indianapolis. And here to take us there is Leslie Olson.
Thank you for having me.
Hey! Kelly. Now, people tuning in are going, wait a minute, I thought I was watching Channel 40, but that's Leslie Olson. Wasn't she on Channel 8? I'm confused.
It's been a while, but
has it been a while?
It
because to the person who watches television, when we see you, it's all the same. Like, I know that person. You never forget.
Right. Well, I'm that way too about people, and I remember you from all the radio stations I used to listen to. But yeah, I left Wish TV in 2009.
Has it been that long? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and now you're with the Children's Museum.
I am. It's a great second career.
I love it. So tell us what's going on there. I've not been in a while, and as I mentioned to you off the air, I hadn't had anybody in to kind of update us on what's going on there.
Well, Kelly, something is going on all the time.
I bet you it is.
All the time. One of our, I guess you would call it branding planks, is that we are always changing. And we are, because we have a lot of members, who come all the time, and we don't want them to get bored or stop coming. So we constantly have new and updated things. Now, we have wonderful permanent exhibits that everybody loves that do get updated, like our Dinosphere and our Power of Children Gallery and our Science Works. All wonderful exhibits that have new programming from time to time and are updated. But at least 3, maybe 4 times a year, we have new temporary exhibits that switch out every 3 to 6 months. And so always keeping something different to see. And right now, we're getting ready for spring break. Okay. So we do have new things to share with you that are coming on. One just recently opened, and it's for the preschool set. And it is called The Pigeon and Pals.
The Pigeon and Pals.
The Pigeon and Pals. So there is a very well-known children's author and illustrator, Mo Willems, who has written a couple of series of books that kids love. One of the books is called The Pigeon, the series. And one of the famous books is Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. And the kids love it. Oh. And then another series that he has is called Elephant and Piggy. Here's a little trivia. The elephant's name is Elephant Gerald. And you may say, well, why would a children's author name a character Elephant Gerald? Say it really fast.
Elephant Gerald.
His favorite singer was?
Ella Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Get out of here.
That's just fun trivia. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, the kids are loving that. That just recently opened. And it's very interactive. The little preschool kids can do all these little games, interactives that the characters in the series do. Plus, then we have a part of the exhibit that the older generation love, and that is lots of his original illustrations and artwork and explanations of how he draws the characters and how he comes up with them. And then there's areas where the kids can actually trace the characters and learn a little bit about art and all that. So that's a lot of fun.
Cool, very cool.
Coming up March 14th, we have a fun one called Wild Weather.
Wild Weather.
Wild Weather. This is for a little older children and families, like we're saying 8 to 12-year-olds.
I was going to say, what is older?
For the children, 8 to 12, maybe. And speaking of older, we are really, I'm going to get back to this, but we are really excited to talk about grandparents. We are seeing so many more grandparents come to our exhibit. And when you think about it, parents are so busy right now that a lot of them have their parents taking care of their kids.
Good point.
Whether they're raising them or babysitting for them or whatever. So we're seeing lots of them come. So all these exhibits have interesting angles for grandparents as well. So we're really wanting to talk about that. But Wild Weather is an exhibit that we have on loan from a science organization called Science North in Seattle. And we are renting it, but we're Hoosierizing it,
Okay.
if you will,
Okay.
with Indiana weather information. Like, I know you'll remember this, information about the blizzard of 78.
Oh, yes, yes.
And what that was like, and what caused that, and why was Indianapolis hit so hard by the blizzard of 78? What is it like to be in a tornado? Is it scary? Yes. How do you recognize the signs? What should you do? So we have a tornado simulator that the kids can get in, and it has winds up to 75 miles per hour in it. So you really get somewhat of a sense of what it would feel like if you were in the Wizard of Oz and Toto was going by or anything like that. Yeah. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And throughout the run of this exhibit, we have a lot of our local meteorologists.
Well, I was wondering, because the first thing that popped in my mind was Chris Wright, having worked with him for many years.
He's coming. And so throughout the exhibit, we'll be announcing when your favorite rock star meteorologists will be there. And they'll be doing a lot of educational programming. They're going to appear at a summer camp that we have. They're going to do some weathercasts from the exhibit.
Nice.
So won't that be fun?
Wow, that is too cool. I'm all hyped about it, and I'm not even.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have to have kids to come to the Children's Museum, because even though the name is the Children's Museum, we are all about it being intergenerational, as I had said. And we have things for all ages.
You know, because I have been several times, and when you go through and you're learning things, or you see kids learning things, and you're going, I didn't know that. So you think like, well, I'm an adult and I've learned it all, and they're just learning these. No, I didn't know that.
I know. It's
always something.
Every time I go into an exhibit, I learn something new. And our Dinosphere is incredible. And I have to confess that growing up, was never a fan of dinosaurs. But
Me too. I'm not
one.
like a Jurassic Park. I don't care. I don't get it. But I'm impressed with what you have out in the front of the museum, where what animal is that? Is a
T-Rex and a sauropods.
Okay, they're coming out of the building. I love that.
Right,
yeah, it's cool.
Well, we a couple of years ago leased a mile square area in Wyoming that is chock full of Jurassic dinosaurs. And we are working with a couple of other museums in Europe and here, but we're the lead museum on the project. And we are digging up these dinosaurs. We're putting them together, cleaning them up. We've expanded our paleo lab, which we have a real working lab where paleontologists are cleaning up these bones. Last summer, we brought back 15 tons of dinosaur bones.
Whoa.
And so we're expanding the Dinosphere. It'll probably open in 2021, 2022 with 2 of these huge long neck dinosaurs that we don't have. I mean, they're like 80 feet long and unbelievable. And so I am excited now about dinosaurs, because to your point, there's so much to learn in the museum. I am learning so much as I do my job, and it's cool.
I love it. I love it. Now you've got me all excited, like I have to go.
I hope you will.
Now you mentioned off the air something. You have a Barbie exhibit coming up, or?
Yeah, Barbie is coming May 30th, and for this, it'll be there for quite a while. We don't even have an end date yet, but several years ago, we had a Barbie exhibit that was so popular, we had to extend the run and extend the run and extend the run. It focused on the history of Barbie dolls. Okay. And it was full of Barbie dolls, and that was a great place where grandparents could bring their granddaughters and say, I had this one, and I had Midge and Skipper and all the, all the Barbie dolls. This one, and we're working yet again with Mattel, is also about Barbie, but not so much the history as the now and the future of Barbie. Barbie, you may not know this, has had 200 careers.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's who got all our jobs.
No, Barbie.
Barbie.
We can't show all the careers Barbie has had, but it's called Barbie, You Can Be Anything. And we really want to show, especially young girls, that the world is wide open to them. The careers are wide open to them. There's research showing now that by the time girls especially are in 3rd grade, they're already beginning to think of the things they can't do, not the things they can do. Not so with boys. They can be astronauts. They can, be engineers. They can do it all. But girls are already beginning to think, well, that's probably not something I do. Wrong.
Wrong.
So Mattel is working to close what they call the dream gap. And this whole exhibit is about showing girls what they can do through Barbie, because Barbie's doing it all too.
Wow, I love it. How smart is that? That is genius.
Yeah.
It really is. Wow,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, we're almost out of time. So let's talk about people who visit your hours and, what time to come,
Yeah.
special days. I know there are days that
Right,
you can go for free and that kind of thing.
We do. We are open 7 days a week, again, starting around the middle of March. In the winter, we're closed on Mondays, so we can do upkeep and what have you. But middle of March, we start with spring break being open 7 days a week, 10 to 5. And then on weekend days, we're going to be open at 6 o'clock in our outdoor experience. And you may not know this, but we added a 7.5-acre sports park outside our museum.
Yeah, I saw that online.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really, really cool. 12 different sports kids can try. We've got equipment for the little kids, full-size equipment for the grandparents, the adults, the whole shebang, and they're loving it. So that reopens again for the third season on March 14th. And tickets are online. We have dynamic pricing, so every day can be different. I can't just give you a set price based on supply and demand. And we do have 4 free days a week, 4 free days a year.
Okay.
Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, we just had those 2. Then in September we have one called Fiesta Familia, where we celebrate Hispanic culture and heritage. And then Christmas Eve Day, we're free.
Oh, okay. Okay, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Then website and then any other information, just go to the website and you can find everything, really, right?
childrensmuseum.org. You can buy your tickets online. You can see what days are less expensive, which days are going to be the most crowded, and you can really plan your visit right there online.
Okay, sounds good to me. Leslie Olson. Wow, I can't believe she's here. This is too cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kelly, for
coming
having me.
in and taking us to the Children's Museum of Indianapolis. We appreciate it.
Thank you
so much. All right, and we'll be back with more here on Inside Indy after this.
Because of you, I felt hopeless.
I know it was a joke, but it still hurt me.
Because of you, I felt wanted and not alone in this world.
Because you said hi to me on the first day of school, I felt included and I knew that I was going to be okay.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish! In your face! In your face!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
And we're back here on Inside Indy, and we're celebrating. It's a birthday, but not a person. Is it a place or a thing? Kind of both. It is the anniversary for the Indianapolis Recorder newspaper. And here to kick off the big celebration is Oshia Boyd, and she is the editor of the Indianapolis Recorder newspaper. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And I love those earrings, by the way.
Thank you, thank you.
Can I have them?
No.
Okay.
I
I'm
was debating
kidding.
this morning about which ones to wear, and I chose these.
I love them. I love them. So now, it's been how many years since the paper started?
125. 125.
125 years.
Yes. 1895.
1895. That's crazy.
I know, right? I mean, super crazy when you think about like 1895 and we're in 2020.
Wow. So how did it all start back then?
2-page church bulletin.
2-page church bulletin.
Yes, 2-page church bulletin about happenings in the African American community.
Wow. Now, what church, do we know what the church?
I'm not sure
Or they
what
just
church.
called it a church bulletin?
I'm not sure what church exactly, if it was a particular church or just went to all churches, but it definitely started as a 2-pager. And then a couple years later moved to broadsheet. So it didn't take long.
Broadsheet?
Yeah, the big sheet. So it didn't take long.
Oh, really? Okay.
It didn't take long for it to grow.
Okay. So back then, though, when thinking like 1895, so I just, the printing process, I mean, I can't even imagine what was going on back then.
You know, I think about like Johnny Tremaine, when I had to read the book Johnny Tremaine in school and the printing press and how he burnt his hand with the putting the letters and yeah, that's just the whole process. I don't even understand. And I think back even when I was in college and we actually had printing presses at my old newspaper. And just today how we're just all digital. We just send everything electronically and it just poof, it appears like magic.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, if they could see us now from 1895.
They go, what
I
the
wonder
heck?
what they would think.
Yeah. Okay. So now, do you have any of those records from that far back, or how far back do you have?
So we actually have a digital collection at IUPUI in the IUPUI library that goes way back. I think it pretty much it might go back as far as 1895, but it goes back to the early 1900s for sure. And then we also still have some physical bound copies at the Recorder in our offices.
Wow.
And they're like yellow, and you can see like what the news was at that time, the things they reported on versus kind of like the things we report on now. So it was really cool.
Okay. Now, so have you had a chance to, I know you flipped through them, do you ever read it or just go back and anything that strikes you historically?
Not recently. It's something that I want to do a little bit more as we have a little more time. We're always moving, trying to get the next paper out.
Right.
But definitely something I want to look through just because it's history and it just shows you so much about how much we've grown as a community in Indianapolis, how much things have not changed, and just kind of that history of journalism. You know, not just Black people, but of journalism.
Right, yeah. And I'm wondering how journalism might have been different, say, even in the 50s or 60s than it is today. And I can remember my parents saying this, though. They told me, and I don't know what year the papers used to do it, and I don't think it was just the Black paper, because there's also a paper called the Indiana Herald that is historically a Black newspaper. Mary Tandy, I think, still runs that paper. Opal Tandy started it. I used to work there. I know. I used to work in the basement.
In the basement.
Of the, right, and developing pictures for them. This is probably 1981 or 2. And, you know, I think back there were probably rats down there, and I didn't even know.
Well, you were in the
When
dark
you're
room.
young and dumb.
You were in the dark room.
Yeah, and I
see
never
in that
saw
dark room.
anything, but when I think back, like, that was an old building.
Yeah.
Actually, it was on Indiana Avenue.
Okay.
Right before you got to the Walker Building is where it used to be.
I believe the Recorder was on Indiana Avenue, too,
Back
at some
then?
point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Way back in the day. But yeah, I remember being in the dark room in college. And
Okay.
And I thought it was going to be so cool to be in the dark room, not knowing that you couldn't see at all.
You're that old that you develop pictures. You look so young.
In college. Yeah. I was like on the tail end of it in college.
Yeah, I used to develop pictures. I think it was about 12 years old. I used to have my own little dark room at home.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's how I started in journalism. Photojournalism
That's
was my first
cool.
love. So yeah, and took pictures for the school newspaper, and then I never had a chance to work though for the Recorder. But again, the Indiana Herald. But my parents said back in the day that back then when there were crimes, they actually would go to the scene and shoot pictures. So like now, like there was a quadruple homicide, and if it's in the paper, you'll see the 4 suspects. You might see the outside of the apartment. No, they'd show the person. Like, I don't know how they were even getting in on the scene, but especially if they were outside, you'd see the body laying there and they'd be shot.
Standards are different.
Yeah. But that was the norm.
Today. And then that's not, you don't see that at all.
And
today.
then somewhere along the line, it changed, and it wasn't politically correct to do that anymore. But it used to be like it all out there.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you some history now. I'll tell you how I know that too. When I worked for the Herald, in the back, and I'm sure you have the same thing, there's all these old pictures. And apparently, I went through some old pictures, and there were people in accidents, and you could see like their legs were twisted, and I know I'm getting graphic here, but there's an old case called the Sylvia Likens murder case. Are you familiar with that?
I'm familiar with that.
And they had pictures of Sylvia Likens in their file, and he brought it out and sat it on my desk and said, "Look at him." I couldn't open it.
Wow, was that his effort to toughen you up?
I guess so, yeah, because again, I was like 21 years old. But it just tells you there's so much history there.
Yeah.
Because back then they did that. So no telling what you have in your file.
Oh my gosh. I have to go back in that office and see. Because we definitely do have file cabinets full of photos. And then we have, like I said, bound copies. Wow. So, and we were actually going through some old photos a while back and just cracking up laughing. And seeing famous people that have come through Indianapolis, people that we knew, people in clothes from the 80s.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the different things you see. And tell people a little bit about the Recorder today and what you do cover, because that'll give them a sense of even historically what you've covered.
Well, we still advocate for our community. We still cover things that are pertinent to the Black community, to the African American community. Since we are a weekly, we can't get to breaking news like maybe say other newspapers that are dailies, but that doesn't mean we don't cover things that are important to our community. We strive to make sure we go deeper. That's how we try to handle it. We go a little bit deeper, try to make sure we focus on how it affects our community, things that you need to know. So it's always a kind of what do we need to know. My whole goal is to educate, empower, and engage our audience. So that's every story that we write. We want to make sure we're doing one of the three, all of the three, two of the three, but need to do something. And also a little bit of entertainment in there too, because we still want to have fun. We still, live a little.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Now, what's top story for this week? What's hot off the press?
This is a stressful day, so let me think.
Okay.
Today's deadline day, so I have 1,000 stories in my head. So we've done a census story, just to let everyone know what's going on with the census. We need to make sure we fill out the census because that is money for our community. It's a lot of money we lose if we don't fill out the census per person. I'm not going to tell you how much. Read the paper to see online or in the newspaper, on the print publication to see how much. Also have some... The Damien Center has a food pantry, so it used to be just for HIV only, positive people only. Now they've expanded to include other people in the community. What else we have in the paper this week? Let me see. I think I'll let Alzheimer's research. So how it affects African Americans. We actually may have Alzheimer's at a higher rate than white people.
Okay.
And some of the factors such as diabetes and high blood pressure, I believe, may play a role in that in early onset. So there's some research going on now at IU. They're looking to see because we're underrepresented. So we don't have enough people to study yet. So they're working on that. So that's about all I'm gonna give you.
Okay. Now, see, now you got your news report.
Yes.
That weekly news piece that we were talking about doing here.
So I need you guys to pick it up or read it online and get the rest.
Now where can we pick it up? And then, as you say, online, where can we go?
Well, you can pick it up all over the city. If you go to our website, we do have a where to buy, and usually at CVS. A lot of CVS locations have our paper, and you can see the where to buy online. If you want the actual print publication, you can always come to our office, 2901 North Tacoma Avenue. We're open pretty much 8 to 5 daily, Monday through Friday. So we always have copies of the paper available there. And then you can always read us online. Read us online and share the articles.
So you have, and we got just about 2 minutes left. So what do you have going on to celebrate? Or you got some special events coming up?
So we are actually talking about a few things, but for sure we have an event coming up in August.
Okay.
So we're going to use this whole year to kind of just celebrate our 125. If you get a paper, you'll see we have a banner saying it's our 125th. So in August 13th, I believe, is our celebration at the Madam Walker at the Legacy Center. So we're partnering up with another historic organization to celebrate our 125th. So we'll have a cocktail reception. We want everybody to come out and enjoy, just celebrate with us. This is just historic, and we're excited. I can't think of many businesses, if any, that have lasted 125 years locally, and Black-owned business at that. So when you think about the gravity of that, you think about how important this is. This legacy is very important. So we want to celebrate it, we want to honor it, and we want to keep on moving to the next 125.
All right. Keep the legacy alive. And
yes.
Still owned by the Mays family?
Yes, we've always been Black-owned, 125 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Bill Mays, the late, great William G. Mays, was a huge supporter of some stuff we've done here at Channel 40 as well.
Yes, and when you think about his goal was to get us to 100, I believe. So we've surpassed that. We
appreciate him, and we appreciate you and all you do, because I know you got a lot on you. You carry a lot of that load over there.
Yes.
But we appreciate what you do.
Thank you very much.
Keeping the legacy alive.
Thank you.
So we appreciate it. Oshia Boyd of the Indianapolis Recorder newspaper, the editor-in-chief. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me
on Inside Indy. And thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Vaughn, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Natural disasters are a fact of life in the U.S. And between activities and school, chances are you won't be with your kids when they happen. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids can help your children feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.